Jacksonville State, and then we'll take questions after.
Yeah, we've had a good first 3 games. I think our defensive effort's been where we want our guys to be. Offensively, we've got a long ways to go yet, but you know, it's early in the year, so we're sitting where we want after 3 games. We didn't close the game down in South the way we would have wanted to, but still a quality win. Jacksonville State's tough. I mean, they're well coached. Ray's won everywhere he's been. Year before I got here, they beat us pretty good in a close scrimmage, so we turned around and scrimmaged them, and we've either scrimmaged them or played them in our regular game every year since I've been here, and they've played us tough. They're going to test us on the glass more than we've been testing the first 3 games. You know, I think right now we're leading the country in rebounding margin, but you know, the first 3 teams we played really didn't crash the offensive boards hard. They got back to keep us out of transition. I think, you know, Ray's teams are pretty tough and physical and give effort, so he's going to test us a little bit more on the offensive glass, which, you know, if we can rebound it defensively, maybe we can get our offense going a little better against these guys out in transition, you know, with them crashing. Like I think they will, but, you know, we're going to have to rebound it well. We're going to have to play well on defense. They got some shooters. They got some, you know, high major athletes that transfer down that are really talented and skilled and can score. We're going to have to play well. And, you know, offensively, our points emphasis have been, you know, we got to cut down on the turnovers. We're kind of, our non-steal turnover rate's really bad. I mean, we just travel, stepping out of bounds, charges, throwing the ball out of bounds. Like, we got to eliminate some careless turnovers. And I think if our quality of our passes would go up, our 3-point percentage would go up. We haven't shot it particularly great, but I think we got a good shooting team. I think part of that's quality of our passes haven't been great. Some of it's we're just missing shots. We got to get comfortable in the offense. So,
Nick,
you talked about the turnovers. I mean, is that just something that's going to get better with time, do you think, as these guys get more reps, especially these younger guys, or what do you think it's going to ultimately take for that to improve?
yeah, I think, you know, more time. I think some guys understanding their roles. We got some guys trying to do a little bit too much, more than what they're capable of, and you know, some of it's on the coaching staff. We didn't do a great job prepping them for the press. Ideally, you don't have Nick Pringle handling the ball in the middle press, turn it over like he did. So we've got to do a better job putting our guys in positions where to play to their strengths. So the coaching staff's got, you know, something to do with this too. So we've been trying to do a better job these last 2 days of practice and just trying to get guys to emphasize playing to their strengths and not trying to do too much outside of what they're capable of doing.
Mike.
Just as he starts to ramp up Jake Hughes' minutes over, you know, the coming weeks, coming games, just how do you envision that playing time being balanced out with Mark and Jaden? And, you know, in the past, I think you've had Javon come off the bench in some cases as sort of that spark.
Yeah, I'm not sure right now. Obviously, to start, we'll bring Javon off the bench. He'll be on minutes restriction tomorrow night. You know, we just tried to get his feet wet a little bit against South. We're not going to just throw him in there. You know, his knee's close to, you know, he's been cleared by the doctor for a couple of weeks. His knee's close to being 100%, but you got to get mentally, you got to be able to trust it too. So we you know, the mental side of the game is a big deal, particularly with him. So we want him to get some confidence. You know, he didn't play particularly well, but I didn't expect him to in his first game out against South. He's got to get back. He's got to get game reps under him. So I just wanted to get him some game reps and give him some feeling in a real game. So we'll do a little bit more than that Friday. Once he gets to where he's back and he feels good, then we're gonna have to figure that out. You know, whether it's he's played well off the bench too. Shoot, that first year with us when we won the SEC and he was a tournament MVP, came off the bench. Was the SEC tournament MVP off the bench. You know, we've got some quality guys off the bench. Noah Gurley's coming off the bench right now. He's starter minute type guy. You know, Don Welch, we got to figure out him once he gets healthy, what's going to happen there. So we got plenty of options to bring some. And I think sometimes it's harder to play off the bench. Some of these veteran guys maybe will do a little bit better. You know, understand. Pretty much every year I've coached, I've had real good bench players, guys that should probably be starters. If you started your 5 best guys, come off the bench. You may have to do something like that here again. Shouldn't be close to doing it with Noah Gurley now. I mean, he's playing as well as a lot of the starters are.
Tony.
I've got 2, but first off, how's Dom doing? Is there an update?
He's probably doubtful for a while. Him and Darius both. probably looking more like trying to get them ready for PKI than probably tomorrow, but we'll see. Neither one of them did any live drills in practice today. We'll see where, we're just kind of day to day. They did a lot individually, just nothing live, so we're gonna see how it feels in the morning. If they can make it through the kind of game day shoot around pretty full speed, we'll, see what they have for us, but they're kind of day to day. Neither one of them are out for a long time, but we're not gonna rush them back either. Then you have a second part?
Yeah, you mentioned Jacksonville State's shooters. I mean, they got Skylar Potter, like, shooting as hot as anyone right now. Just, do you do anything special to stop him, or is it just kind of just a matter of doing your thing?
Yeah, I mean, you saw what we kind of did with McKee, as good as he scored it. So, they've got two guys that, Potter, you're right, shooting it really well. I mean, really, really well with their first few games here. But, they've got a couple guys. They got Peyton Daniels, he only played 5 minutes last game, but he's been playing well. He shoots it well. So they probably got about 3-4 guys but Potter's shooting it best this year. They've had some guys that shot it well in the past, and so we're fully aware of who their shooters are, and we want to make sure they don't get any easy ones up. Our guys are pretty locked in the scouting report. So, and the fact that I think Jacksonville State has no starters returning, that's a little bit of I would say it's probably deceiving, to be honest with you, a little bit, because they've, got some guys that have played starter minutes there in the past, got some transfers, started at other schools in their league, so they're talented, and Ray really does a great job bringing transfers in there. Ray's been bringing transfers in since before transfer portal, so, I mean, he's been doing this for a long time, knows what he's doing. He's got 5 quality guys that are starting the game, and some more guys that are just as good as the starters coming off the bench, particularly Jackson. So they're good. They're a quality team.
You talk about older guys can maybe understand a little bit better if their role is coming off the bench, but with so much depth, how do you make sure guys' minds are kind of in the right space, whether they're going to be a starter coming off the bench?
Yeah, I mean, you should talk to them. I think it's more important how they play their minutes than it is when they get their minutes, whether they get their minutes at the tip or 4 minutes into the game or, whatever. I think any good Division I team has to deal with that, because there's no way you're gonna be a great team with only 5 good players. So you've got, we'll probably have 8, 9 guys that probably could start. We probably won't start our 5 best, if you will. You gotta have a good mix in the starting lineup of great role players, creators, rebounders, screeners, all that. You gotta also have it coming off the bench. You need scoring off the bench. You don't want to start your 5 best scorers. So, we're just gonna have to continue to teach guys the importance of that. You look at some of our guys that have been drafted here, they didn't all start a lot. I mean, look at a guy like Primo, he didn't start half the year. When he was here with us, he averaged 8 points a game, win the lottery. So it's not as if some of these guys can't achieve their goals of what they want to do individually. If they have to come off the bench, they can play well, play great, play heavy minutes, and come off the bench and shoot. Don't end up playing in the NBA if they're talented enough and the NBA wants them.
Mike?
One of the things JQ mentioned after the game was players taking constructive criticism better this year, whether it's from other players or you or other coaches. Just how much of that have you noticed yourself compared to last year?
It's been a lot better, to be honest with you, and I think guys are more willing to take it, and we've got more guys willing to try to coach guys. I think JQ's leading that. I mean, it happened today. He's and talking to Rylan Griffin about screen angles and timing, and he got Noah Gurley coaching Nick Pringle today. Noah's been in the program, knows what we want. Just see that a lot more. And if you don't want to receive the constructive criticism, guys are going to quit giving it to you, at which point you're not going to get better. I tell the guys all the time, there's a quote from Bob Cousy, criticism is like gold, you should worry at the lack of it. As soon as I quit coaching you, that's when you better start being worried. And same thing with your teammates. If you're going to react in a negative way to guys trying to help get you better, well, then they're going to stop trying to help get you better. If your teammates aren't trying to get you better and the coach isn't trying to get you better, pride in the spot if you're on the team anymore. So we've tried to make, now, you can say all that, and guys still have egos and get real defensive. I think this year, our guys are learning to check their egos at the door, and let's just get better. Let's get the team better, let's get better individually. You can't get better without getting coached, getting criticized, if you will. You know, let's make it constructive to get guys better. Let's just not get on guys. But I think receiving it and giving it, it's all been pretty good this year so far.
You good?
Thank you.
Thanks.
They asked, Nick Saban,